Aeneid, Book 2, lines 583 to 600. We continue with Aeneas' speech to himself, muttering to himself as he sees Helen seeking sanctuary in the sanctuary or the shrine of Vesta, and he is filled with rage that she has caused so much pain or so much death and destruction to have been committed in her name, and now she seems to be getting off in his eyes, scot-free. So he had just finished up a series of future perfects. Will Priam have died in vain? Will Troy have burned with fire in vain? Understood. And will the whole shore of Troy have sweated with blood in vain? Non ita. Now, there's no stated verb here for non ita. You can take it as let it not be so, or it will not be so, however you want to take that. Non ita, let it not be so. It is will not be so. Very strong, very forceful. Namque etsi. For although, my main verb here, est, there is no memorable name. Now, by memorable name, we're talking more along the lines of reputation, honor, glory, what the Greeks might call kleos, the whole point of why one goes to war in the first place. So there's no glory, there is no memorable name in a feminea poena. Now, feminea here is the adjective form of femina. So not a womanly punishment, but in the punishment of a woman. So there's no honor in killing a woman, specifically a woman seeking sanctuary. In fact, usually it's the opposite. Consider Ajax Oileus, for example. Usual penalty for that is getting impaled on a rock. Instead, however, haec victoria, this victory has praise. So although normally killing a woman is a bad idea and there is no memorable name in a woman's punishment, this victory has praise. My next verb here, laudabor, is passive voice, future tense passive voice. I will be praised. Tamen, however, to have wiped out, related to the word extinguish. Now this is a perfect infinitive, perfect active infinitive with the laudabor. I will be praised to have wiped out the nephos. Now, this is a very strong word. It is literally against the will of the gods, nephos, the opposite of phos, the divine will. So this nephos here is what Helen is. She is a crime. She is wickedness incarnate. And to have, now to sumo means to pay, but here the idea of to exact payment, and it's merentes payment, or merentes punishments. Mario merere is a present active participle with that nt, ing, and it's modifying poenas here. So again, I will be praised to have wiped out this wickedness, however, and to have exacted, deserving, present active participle, punishments. And euabit. Now, this is the exact same verb we used back in book 1, with the forsanat haikola meminise euabit. There in book 1, it was Aeneas trying to put on a happy face, saying it will someday be pleasant or be helpful to remember even these things. Here at the shrine of Vesta, looking at Helen, it will help to have again, explicisse here is a perfect active infinitive. You may be wondering why, if the verb is expleo, explere, explewi, where the vi go. This is a syncopated perfect infinitive. Normally, this is explicit, but we chop off the VI for reasons of meter, reasons of mental state, not quite clear. It will help to have filled up my mind. Now, with a verb like to fill up, we're expecting a genitive. And here, slight textual issues, but we believe that it should read with avenging flame. So again, it will help to have filled up my mind with avenging flame. And satyasa, like explicit, is a syncopated perfect infinitive. To have satisfied, or almost to have glutted, the ashes of my people. Maiorum, genitive plural, referring to all the people back at Troy, or people at Troy who have just died or are about to die as a result of Helen's actions. Yaktabam here, less literal, more figurative. I tossed off these words. And theribar, also passive. I was carried by my enraged mind. Ablative of mean, presumably. Furiata here is a perfect passive participle, modifying mente. Cum here plus the indicative obtulit must be translated when. When my subject does not show up until 2 lines later. Parens, my alma parens. So there's a bit of a delay when in front of his eyes something divine appears. When to me, she offered or almost revealed, Sahir is a reflexive, so herself. We don't know yet that it's a she until we get down to the 3rd line. Although actually that's not quite true. The widendam feminine ending tells us it is somebody feminine. Since we've just been talking about Helen, you might think, well, it is her. But in fact, no, not until when we see the 2 lines down, it's in fact his alma parens, Venus. When she offered herself to me, widendam. Now, this is the gerundive in its purest form, to be ed. Now, this is not passive periphrastic, and this is not a purpose, not really. Instead, she offered herself to me to be seen. Tam clara, so clear as not before to my eyes. So at this point in his life, Aeneas, even though Venus is his mother, he's never actually seen her in her true form, or at least never so clear. Granted, that has a history of destroying humans, seeing gods in their original form, but I guess he is able to take it in this scenario. And refulsit, she glowed per noctem, through the night, in pure light. Pura here is modifying eluke. My dear parent. So let's sum up to this point. When my dear parent, or nourishing parent, Alma, offered herself to me to be seen, widendam, so clear, we'd say in English so clearly, to my eyes as not before. Anta here is adverbial here. Oculis here, dative, clear to my eyes, kind of a reference. And she shone, refulsit, she gave off light, per noctem, through the night, in pure light. Confessa here is a participle of a deponent verb, so technically it's a perfect active, or at least perfect active translating participle. After admitting, now since this is a verb of the head, we have this accusative here, deam, and the infinitive, videri. Admitting that she was a goddess and qualis, of what kind, and of what size. Soleo literally means she was accustomed, she is accustomed, but in English, more idiomatically, it's translated as just usually. So admitting herself a goddess, and of what size, and what kind and size she usually was seen. Now, videre is the passive infinitive of video videre. Usually I say 95% of the time translate video on the passive as seem. Here probably makes more sense to just leave it literally was seen or is seen. She is usually seen. Now, if you're keeping it as the true passive voice is seen, the kalikolis here makes more sense as a dative of agent by the kalikolis, inhabitants, inkolai of heaven, kaili. So therefore the other gods. If you want to keep the wideri here as translated as seem, then probably makes more sense. Of what kind and size she is accustomed to seem to the Kailikolis, inhabitants of heaven. All right, that's fine. And continue it here. Venus again continues as the subject of this verb. And she checked, she restrained their principal part. Me understood, prehendo, having grasped. The prehensum is a perfect passive participle, prehendo, prendere, from there, and it's modifying and implied me. So she checked me after I had been held, restrained, grabbed, dextraque, by my right. It's feminine and singular, so we're implying the word hand. Now, if he were about to attack Helen, he would be holding a weapon of some kind in his right hand. So she checked him after he had been grabbed by his right hand. And she added in super, in addition, these things, roseo, ore, ablative means, with her rosy mouth. So she speaks to him, and she's described as having a rosy mouth. Nate, child. Here, vocative, because she's referring to her son, Aeneas. Quis tantus dolor, what great sorrow arouses your unconquered anger. Quid furis, by the way, 594. Chiasmus, A, B, then B, A, word order. Woo! Quid furis, what are you raging at? Why are you raging? That's fine too. Or, quonam, for what reason is your concern, nostri, of us, has it gone back? Has it receded? Has it faded away? Now, tibi here, dative of possession, goes with cura. The nostri here is concern for us, something called a objective genitive. You don't really need to worry about that. But the idea that it's not our concern for you, but it's your concern for us. Because he's the man of the house and he should be in charge and taking care of his son and father and wife. So, or for what reason has your concern for us, of us, of this fine, gone back, retreated, recedo? Non prius aspicies. Aspicies here, future indicative of aspicio. Now, the non here is short for nonne. So I'm asking a question, and Mama is expecting a yes answer. So, won't you first, prius, look at, or look where? Now, it's a question word after my verb of the head. So we have a verb of the head, question word plus subjunctive, we have indirect question. So won't you look first, ubi, where you left, from relinqua, relinquere, reliqui. This is the rare perfect subjunctive seen in the wild. It is pretty much only seen on a regular basis in indirect questions when your main verb is a present tense and the action of the subordinate clause happened before. So again, won't you look first where you left? Go ahead and translate as plain old perfect tense indicative. Where you left your parent, your father, worn out with age, able to cause, probably. Anchises, that's his name. That, by the way, is a Greek accusative ending. And again, won't you look first where, or rather than the na here, won't you look at whether your conjunx creusa, your wife creusa, superet, survives. Supero, superare. Here, present subjunctive, if she still, at this moment, survives. And your boy Ascanius. Again, also, if he still survives. Quos here, this is a very interesting disjointed word order, which mirrors the chaotic scene of the sack of Troy. Whom, all of whom, undique, from everywhere, the Greek forces, battle lines, were wandering around. So again, from all sides, the Greek achies, battle lines, soldiers is fine, were wandering around all of them. And knee, now with this knee, this is short for nisi, if not. Now we've got a nisi plus a present subjunctive. And usually si or nisi plus a present subjunctive like resistat would be a future less vivid. But here it's more that Virgil is sticking in the present tense for a more vivid effect. It really is a contrary to fact present. So if my concern were not, or my efforts, probably a good translation here, were not resisted, yam, already, flames would have carried them away, meaning they would have died by flames. This tolerant here is our second future, our second perfect subjunctive of the passage. It's a perfect subjunctive because we would expect a pluperfect subjunctive, but to make it more vivid, Virgil is just breaking the laws of Latin grammar. Already the flames would have carried them away, and a hostile, an enemy sword, hauserit, would have drained their blood, understood, or their life force, something like that.